Catholic Church officials in Quebec say they will not apologize to a group known as the Duplessis Orphans. The orphans allege they were mistreated as wards of the church several decades ago. The province's Assembly of Bishops says the church was not responsible for the abuse and therefore it does not owe an apology. But as Tim Du Bois reports, the orphans vowed to keep on fighting for recognition.
Three of Quebec's most powerful church leaders say the so-called Duplessis orphans won't get the apology and compensation they've been asking for. Victims say some 3,000 children left in the care of church-run institutions from the 1940s to the 60s were abused and treated for mental problems they didn't have. Jean-Claude Cardinal Turcotte says the church's only role now is to offer compassion.
There's another way put in place by the government to help all those who are in need, and we accept to follow that ways.
The Quebec government started a fund for the former wards of the church. It's a fraction of what the orphans want. The church says the fund is enough, that more money won't erase the past. Cardinal Turcotte says the church was the only institution willing to help displaced children and that it isn't responsible for systematic abuse. Lydia Asayag of the province's ombudsman disagrees.
The church was the one who were managing and owning the hospital and all social service and education institution. So they were the one in charge.
Asayag says the church does owe victims compensation and an apology. Carlo Turini speaks for the Duplessis orphans. He says the church's refusal to apologize is outrageous.
Everywhere else in Canada, similar acts of institutional abuse of children have been repaired. Quebec is now the distinct society of injustice.
Turini is asking Roman Catholics in Quebec to boycott the collection plate at the beginning of next month. A recent poll shows 2/3 of Quebecers support the orphans. Turini says if the church won't listen to the Duplessis orphans, it'll have no choice but to listen to its own members. Tim Du Bois, CBC News, Cap de la Madeleine, Québec.
Et voici. Les orphelins du Duplessis sont fait violer sur les terres dans le pays, le Canada et le Québec. Bonjour.